Hey, a great Friday morning. It is a beautiful morning in the city of Brownsville, Texas, and almost came in late today.
Yeah. And then you were complaining about me. Am I going to be, you better not be late. And I be like, okay, I'm here waiting.
I'm always on time.
I'm not. I've told you. You're
Oh,
lucky I'm here. I'm here.
and that's why. That's why I don't send you links anymore because I hate individuals not being punctual, and
Well,
that's one of the things I strive for. If I say 9 o'clock, it's going to be 9 o'clock,
mhm,
and and if it's 10 o'clock, it's going to be 10 o'clock. Uh,
mhm,
and last like yesterday, I had a wedding at 3:30 on
mhm,
the bridge, and
mhm.
I booked it over there to get there at 3:30. I got there exactly at 3:30, and I said I'm always on time.
Congratulations. Well, it was already 9 o'clock when I texted you telling you, hey, I'm backstage and you were not here. So,
Well, I was trying, and again, look the camera thing. I was trying to get the camera thing to work,
okay. Well, let's
and
get on with the stuff at hand. Like last night's forum that I actually attended. I actually went out in public. So,
yeah, actually, I was kind of surprised. I was like, kind of surprised, like, what the hell is that guy doing here?
like, dude, I let him in the door. There's so much to talk about last night's forum. It was a very interesting forum. So you felt like you kicked butt last night.
No,
That's what you
I don't feel. I know I kicked book last night.
okay. Tell me what you thought. Since
Well,
nobody had you, you didn't have to do a show last night.
well,
So
because
I know why. Don't tell me why you didn't have a show last night. Just tell me what you think you want.
I'll tell you why I didn't have a show last night because I did a repeat because Avram's here and I wanted to go spend some time with Avram and the kids. And so the forum actually lasted a little bit longer than it probably should have. And I say that because a lot of people were out there like talking, and go like, uh, y'all not running, you know?
Oh,
Uh,
you mean Pat?
well, no, not Pat. I mean, look,
Or who endorsed
yeah,
you last night, by the way.
a lot of individuals like the individuals that hosted the event, it was just too talky. Just get to the point. Let's just get to making sure that the candidates have enough time to speak. We want to hear from the candidates. But with that said, let me say it was probably the best forum we've had so far because we were given the liberty to go out there and ask some of the you know the real questions,
Hmm.
the real issues that are in the minds of a lot of folks here in the city of Brownsville.
Mm.
And which again, hats off to the individuals. I was really surprised at how vibrant it was actually.
Well, I mean, this is their first time doing something like this. It's I know that Democratic women are having one. I think not this tomorrow, but next Saturday or something at the library. And so I don't know how vibrant that particular thing is going to be, but I mean, this one was well done. As far as the talking too much, I think um, you know, it was important that the organization explain who they are a little bit. Also, the event started at 6. We do live in Brownsville, and people might be running a little bit late. So, stalling for time a little bit, Brownsville time maybe was a good idea to do. And the thing is, there's some people that might be like that are new to Brownsville politics or actually never voted in a city election. You and I vote in every election, but not everybody does. Some people only vote in a primary and the general election for president or maybe for governor, and that's it. So to explain the importance of, because Veronica Deaton was there and she was representing the club and spoke a little bit about what the job of a mayor and a commissioner is, so that maybe they'll be encouraged to want to vote. And I think that was a good idea to do. I think Carrie Jo did a good job on that. Now, if you want to complain about maybe the length of some of the questions, that might be a little bit somewhat fair. But I'm more concerned about the fact that Pat talked way too much.
Well,
And I
yeah,
like Pat. Don't get me wrong.
I love Pat. I sort of agree. I love Pat, and let me say that, and I appreciate the fact that Pat actually said, "Hey, vote for it." And
He did.
I was going like, "Yeah, you're right, Pat." but because look, and I understand Pat's protest. I think it's a again. I love Pat. I think it's a little bit misguided because if Pat really wants to support the let's protest, it should be let's protest with someone that's on the ballot, and that
Mhm.
real protest against the system and against Jessica and John who screwed Pat over is to vote for Erasmo. Because at the end of the day, it's the only, and again, Pat can do what Pat thinks is in his best interest to do. But the best move, in my opinion, would be let's protest, let's vote for Erasmo.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think he came to realize that towards the end. But I mean, I think you're entitled to speak, but he's not going to be on the ballot. He
No,
is not an official write-in candidate. There is no place on the ballot to write his name in there. His name will not be appear
anywhere.
in your voting location like it did for Jessica when she ran against Charlie all those years ago and wrote her in. So I do not believe that he should have been a person that was speaking at any forum. I think this is the only forum he's spoken at, correct? Every other forum that you've attended, he hasn't been in.
No.
But at the same time, he provided you with an opportunity to bash John and Jessica.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And that was a good thing. It was almost like a tag team between the two of you because
Yeah, yeah,
unfortunately, Jennifer Stanton didn't say anything other than her intro and her conclusion. That was it.
yeah. And again, that's one of the reasons why I say I appreciate because and look, I don't disagree with anything that Pat said last night. I mean, and again, Pat and I share, and this is one of the conversations that I had with Pat. Pat, we agree on almost everything. I think our personalities clash a little bit, and he thinks the reason for me running is not what it needs to be, and that's just a matter of opinion because you can't really dig into the soul of the individual unless there are markers out there that say, well, he stole from us, he took from us, he's out to make money, which is definitely not the case. But again, quite the opposite can be said about my opponents in this race. Look, one of the things that I wanted to mention last night and I didn't have the opportunity to mention last night was like, look at the campaign finance reports.
Mm-hmm.
They're very telling, Roman, and
Yeah.
they're very telling without even digging deep into them, Roman. When you got one candidate spending 90 some $1,000 and another one spending 60 some $1,000 on a race that pays nothing, you should be concerned.
Well, let's talk a little. I don't mind talking about the campaign finance reports because I have looked at them. I did look at John Cowan's campaign finance reports, and there are some issues with John's campaign finance reports. For somebody who has consistently turned in campaign finance reports, has run for office, to see the kind of errors that I saw on there, and these are not just little tiny errors. These are big deal things that you can get fined by the Texas Ethics Commission. One of them in particular is that he got so many different donations that he's not putting the occupation and the employer of I don't think any of his donors, his multiple donors that donated to his campaign. The second thing that is troubling is that he did put a campaign treasurer on file on February 3rd. I want to say it was February 3rd, and it's his uncle Ralph, the commissioner of the Port of Brownsville. One of them. But when you look at his campaign finance report, it says that he was loaning his campaign and essentially expending money in January before he had a treasurer on the file. And my understanding is that if you do not have a treasurer on file, you're not supposed to be able to spend money on a campaign, not the amount of money that he was spending. And I do not know whether I believe he had a campaign account or an office holder account with the city secretary that he was turning in some stuff, but I do not know if the treasurer that was on file there is the same treasurer now. It was the same campaign. I'm not an expert on it, but I do find it troubling that he's the audit and transparency guy, and he's out there loaning the campaign tens of thousands of dollars, spending tens of thousands of dollars before he has Ralph Cowan, the port commissioner, as his treasurer appointment in February. But again, if he could have had another campaign account that with the city secretary, which I think he did, and maybe he was spending money for that, but it's not the same campaign. I don't know. Maybe he can come out and explain exactly what he did. I'm not accusing him of any crime or accusing him of being disingenuous. I'm just wondering why he spent tens of thousands of dollars on a campaign before he had a treasurer on file and announced his candidacy for mayor.
Yeah.
Although I think he announced his candidacy for mayor on Channel 4 at some point before he had his uncle
Radio 4.
Ralph as there.
But again, and that's just going into the legalities of it. It's the money. I mean, all you have to I mean, you don't have to do Pablo. You don't have to do a lot of digging in regards to, well, this is what the rules say. The ethics commission says $96,000, 90 some thousand dollars, 60 some $1,000, guys. That's crazy amount. And let me tell you, Jessica is not reporting everything that she's spending money on. There's no way that she's spent less than John in this campaign. I mean, look at all the robocalls, the mail outs, the mailers, and all the other stuff that's been going out there, guys. Text messages. Again, she's not reporting everything. I don't think she's reporting the money that she's getting from Carlos Marin. And again, all that is just cash money that she's going out there and spending. It does not make sense. Look. You could go through what I've material that I've purchased, the material that I've given out, and you could find $300, and that's it. Because I haven't spent more than $300 on this campaign, and I'm not planning to spend more than probably another $200 on this campaign. That's it. I'm not going to spend money that I don't have. And I appreciate Jay Nagy, former candidate for mayor of the city of Brownsville, who was my only donation that I got, and it was one of probably the biggest donations I've ever received. I haven't even gotten Romans $100 yet, but
You haven't.
he did break down with $300. And thank you, Jay Nagy. And I appreciate the fact that Jay Nagy is supporting us in this campaign and is pushing his SpaceX people out there to vote Erasmo Castro way.
And well, I mean, the other thing that happened last night at the forum, and going back to the forum, um, Jessica Tetra wore a red dress yesterday. I thought that was fascinating because you always say he's wearing the blue dress, but yesterday, since it's a Republican event, she likes to wear a red dress. But as soon as the first question that was a real tough question was asked, she ran away. Remember that? You were there. You saw it. I think you were the one speaking, answering the question.
Yeah.
And she ran away and refused to answer that question.
Yeah. Well, part of the issue is, look, one of the things that people didn't understand, and I wanted to convey this last night as well. You don't have to like me. We don't have to agree on everything, but I'm never going to, pander for your vote. I'm not going to stand before the Republican women, whatever they're called, and I'm not going to then say something and then go to the Democrat women and say something different.
Mm.
That's the difference between myself and John and Jessica. They will pander for your vote. They will say what you want to hear, and then not keep their promises. But we've had a little bit too much of that. With me, you may not agree with a lot of the stances that I take, but at least you'll know exactly where I'm coming from. It's like the question that you're referring to was flying the LGBTQIA flag on governmental property, on stuff that is owned by the city or managed by the city. And I said, look, guys, I have not changed my stance on this. I'm not saying it because it's all y'all are crazy Republicans. I'm saying it because it's what I truly believe in. It should be no gay flag, pride flag, or rainbow flag flying on governmental property. Just simple as that. Should have the American flag, should have the Texas flag, the Brownsville flag, because those are inclusive of everyone in this community. The pride flag does not include everyone in this community. It's just as simple as that. And again, if you're going to do it, and I said this last night, if you're going to do it for one, you have to do it for everybody else out there. It's not the case. So as soon as that question was asked, she decided to hightail and get out of there. And
Mm.
she didn't answer the question. John didn't answer the question. She refused to, because again, they're the ones. Hola, Adrian. They're the ones that voted in favor of. Let me tell you, I think Jessica Tetro is very, very proud that she went out there and she was one of the individuals who started the LGBTQ task force. She even gave the drag queens a proclamation, if I'm not completely mistaken. Uh, and look, guys, I don't have anything against anyone that wants to do drag, uh, transgender, anyone that's a member of the LGBT, nothing at all. Again, I have been the most vocal individual when it comes to issues concerning the LGBTQ community, the most vocal. I'm not going to pander for their vote. It's just
Mhm.
not going to do it. Again, I mentioned this last night. I don't agree that the LGBTQ IA LMNOP task force should have even been started. It sets a bad precedence, and again, one of the things that we need to do is curtail all these boards and committees. But these individuals are creating more and more and more. It doesn't make any sense. And just to pander for people's votes. Les juegan el dedo en la boca, and then people fall for that crap, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, it's kind of what happened with the first question that was asked, having to do with this, the veteran cemetery, which we can talk about in a second. But I want to finish what you're just saying about Jessica and John. The argument that Susan put for Susan Rubalcaba in the other race, because her opponent, I don't think even answered that question either. I don't think anybody that was in that particular
No.
race answered that question, because it was kind of odd. The way that the forum was organized, you as a candidate got to decide whether you wanted to get up and answer the question. So it was your decision to whether you wanted to answer the question. So it's more telling to me who wants to answer a question and who doesn't want to answer the question. So not only did she refuse to answer the question and stand up, she ran away. She walked out. She left. And I don't care if she had another event. She could have said, "Excuse me, I have another event I need to go to." She could have publicly said no. She just walked out and left. And that's embarrassing. Because if you want to represent everybody in the city of Brownsville, not just your district, not just your little clique, and that's what it seems like what Jessica and John are doing, you should want to be able to answer every single question, stand up and say, "This is what I believe," so that you can represent everybody: Republican, Democrats, Independent, Libertarians, Vegetarians, whatever. And that's what happened last night. As far as the pride flag itself, I think Susan's hit it out of the park when she said there was an instance where the police wanted to do a flag for one day, and the city said no. According to Susan, they said no for one day, but for the pride flag, you get the whole month. I wouldn't be surprised if they even fly it whenever the LGBTQ alphabet people's history month and get 2 months out of it. But our police officers couldn't even get a day. And that's embarrassing. That's sad. And that's under the leadership of John and Jessica Tetra.
The difference between myself and the other candidates out there, look, I wanted more time to speak, and I made sure that I got up and gave an answer to every single question out there. Because again, and one of the things that I think that when we got to the forum yesterday morning with the Chamber of Commerce, Chamber of Commerce forum, and again, I still knocked it out of the park. But they said, "That's what I said. It's going to be the questions that were already prepared." I said, "Well, I didn't get them," and the fact of the matter is, I had received them. I just hadn't opened the email, and I said, "I don't care. You don't have to send me questions. You could ask me questions on the fly. I'm going to be okay. You don't have to send me a questionnaire like Jessica's little interview with Juan Montoya. You don't have to prepare, my talking points for me. I've got enough talking points in order to hold my own in any type of forum or any type of debate, which I am, and I mentioned this to Channel 4. What happened to the Channel 4 that you used to have debates, back in the day? Why can't we have debates now? Let's have a debate. I'll go at these guys like a crazy man. But again, they don't want the confrontation. They don't want to answer the tough questions because at the end of the day, they want to pander for people's votes. When they go to the Republicans, they're going to go out there and say, "Well, I'm wearing a red dress and I'm wearing a tie to this event." But then they go to the Democrats, it's going to be totally different because they think that the Republicans are not going to be as in tune and listening in to the Democrat women forum, which they should.
Well, I'm glad that you noticed that about John. John was wearing a tie yesterday, right? And every other forms, he's been no wearing ties, right? He's
Yeah,
like open thing. Why? Because he wants to be, I don't know, like Obama or what? Think he's all badass or what?
working
I
class.
mean, I guess working class, but no, with them, I'm gonna wear a tie. And that was the color red tie as well. Erasmo? I don't recall what the color of the tie was.
I think it was blue.
It might have been blue. Okay, because I honestly don't know. But the main question, the first question that was asked had to do with the Veterans Committee, Veterans Cemetery, and that was an example of pandering. And this is, I'm kind of upset that that we had people that this are, and I talked to Carrie Joe after the meeting, and I won't take our private conversation, but I did mention to her that the veteran cemetery isn't going to happen. And it was very clear based on the answers that Nurith gave and what even John Cowan gave, is that they were not unaware or were not invited necessarily to go up to Austin to speak, because she made the point, Carrie Joe made the argument that she was upset that the mayor of Harlingen was up there in Austin to talk about this veteran cemetery bill that Janie Lopez has put up that's not going anywhere. And it's like, well, if they don't know, if Nura doesn't know about it, how do you expect her to go? And that's what happened with that. As far as the bill itself, I want everybody who's listening to hear, you probably saw on Channel 4 or Channel 5 or the Brownsville Herald, the Valley Morning Star, Gus Ruiz, who's a county commissioner over Harlingen, talking about this particular bill that Janie Lopez filed. It's a bill to have a city, to increase the number of veteran cemeteries in the state from 7 to 10. And it specifically says one of those 10 has to be a county on the border by the sea or whatever. So basically for Cameron County. But I want everybody to know it's not going anywhere. I am sick and tired of and I think, Erasmo, you hit it out of the park when you said this last night, that our veterans are being played. They're being pandered to, whether it's the hospital or whether it's the cemetery thing. 100%. It's ridiculous. It's not going to happen. There's no reason for veteran women or widows of veterans to go to Austin, drive 6 hours up and 6 hours back to go and cry and say, I can't go visit my husband in the cemetery because they're on a mission. And so we build us a cemetery here. It's not going to happen. There are only, 7 veteran cemeteries throughout the state. There are places in the state that do not have a one. And we have 254 counties in our state. And there's only 7 of them. And you want to build another one within 75 miles of the one that's already in mission. It's not going to happen. And I hate the fact that Janie's doing this to you, veterans, and I hate the fact that Gus is doing this to you. And I do not, for all of the negativity that I am towards the city of Brownsville, it's not the city of Brownsville's fault that they didn't go to this hearing if they didn't know about it.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And this is what really irritates me, because at the end of the day, it's like the stupid firefighters. They'll go out there and be like, well, Jessica's always been very nice to us. I say, like, she screwed the police officers. Literally screwed the police officers. John Cowan screwed the police officers. Well,
literally?
Well,
what?
No. She screwed. No. They screwed the police officers. But then the firefighters, well, she talks nice to us. You're stupid.
Well, I talked to them too nicely. That doesn't mean they should necessarily. Well, they shouldn't.
Because they want your damn vote, you morons, you imbeciles. But they can constantly screw everybody else. Look, this is how stupid the firefighter, that little administration group is, whatever their pack or whatever they are. This is how stupid they are. They went out there, and to all the firefighters, please listen to what I'm saying and listen completely. They screwed you over. Your pack, your leadership, whatever the crap they were, they screwed you over because they lessened your benefits in order to hire Marco Longoria back as a firefighter to help him, because he was in that little inner circle. And then he gets rehired and then he retires. So they lost out on benefits. Firefighters, listen to what, and then they go like, well, that's what hates the firefighters. I don't hate the firefighters. I hate the damn leadership that constantly screws you over, you imbeciles. And let me say, be very, very specific. They took from your benefits to help one of their own, one of their compadres, one of their little buddies, and then just decided to retire and left y'all hanging. Enough is enough. Guys, remove your PACs, your associations. They are a part of the political crap machine, guys. That is why. And look, if the BPOA, Brownsville Police Officers Association, doesn't know, I know that you're out there talking about this Arellano and that Marco Avendaño guy. They're out there talking on endorsing Jessica Techo. I mean, how stupid is that? How stupid to go out there and want to endorse someone that was a part of taking away your benefits, your retirement, and your insurance. Look, it's very, very simple, folks. Very, very, very simple. I'm not going to bullcrap you, and I'm going to help the police officers and the firefighters, but I'm not going to work with that stupid leadership that they have. I will refuse to meet with anyone that is Arellano or that Marco Avendaño guy, whatever the hell his last name is. Refuse. I will work with the police officers. I will work with a younger group that is out there, but not with those imbeciles that are out there saying, well, Jessica is nice to us. Are you stupid? She's nice to you because she wants your damn vote, imbeciles. She's a moron. And it's not her, because we all know, I know for a fact, that Roy de las Chanclas is out there, making promises to them that he cannot keep, folks. So, police officers, and to the leadership, BPOA, and to the firefighters and all these guys, all these individuals, let me tell you what's going to happen if your Jessica Techo doesn't make the runoff. Where are you going to be? With pie in your face? And let me tell you, I will refuse to work with that Arellano guy and that Marco, whatever, Avendaño, whatever the hell the guy is. I will work with new individuals. I will work with the officers. I will not work with that leadership that they have right now, because they are stupid. They are self-serving. They spend your dues on alcohol and hamburgers, and not on what benefits you as a whole. Simple as that. But in regards to the cemetery, I made it. Roman mentioned it. I made it clear. Look, guys, they were talking about bringing a clinic down here. Oh, and everyone's like, oh yeah, they're bringing a veterans clinic down here. And they're like, well, we got to vote for Jessica John because they want to bring a clinic down here. What does it matter if it's not going to happen? What does it matter if it's not going to happen? But you believe them, and they lie because they're politicians. That's why we got screwed over with Tenasca, because you believed them. You didn't question. You didn't ask, hey, is it viable? Can it happen? Because Janie, whatever the hell her name is, I don't even know her, Lopez or something, or Salazar, I don't know what the hell her name is.
It's Lopez.
Whatever, I don't care.
Juanita.
Whatever. She may go out there and say, oh, well we're going to bring going to come to Brownsville. We're going to come and, build a cemetery there. And the veterans going like, oh, yeah. Why are you applauding? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
And they're playing on their emotions. They're playing on their emotions when it can't happen.
It can't happen, guys. So what do you want? Do you want the truth? Or do you want to get rear-ended by these individuals?
Mm-hmm.
And look, at the end of the day, if they rear-end you and leave a couple of bucks on the nightstand, well, at least you got a couple of bucks. You're getting jack squat, nothing, because it's not going to happen. Simple as that. You want the truth, or you want to get lied to? What do you want? I will give you the truth. They will crap you.
And they play on the emotions of us because we don't look at how the process is. And I tried to explain this to certain people last night, that right now, like Janie, and I'm only talking about this bill because it affects veterans, and veterans are we have so many of them in Brownsville, and I do not want them to be misled. And so Janie has a bill that's going to have to go through the House. It has to go to the floor of the House by a certain date, and we're only like 2 weeks away. It had a hearing on March 30th. It's already been 2 weeks. You only got a couple of more weeks left. If it's not on the floor, it's not going to go anywhere. The bill dies. And you might hear somebody like Gus Ruiz out there saying, "Well, if it doesn't happen this go around, we're gonna try again in 2 years." And I'm just like, why are we wasting political capital right now on this issue when there's other more important pressing things like streets and drainage and things that we need to be able to fight for our area, for Cameron County? That not necessarily includes a cemetery. Why do we waste our political capital on things like this? And unfortunately, I will say this: Jessica doesn't waste her political capital. She fought hard for the LGBTQ rainbow task force, and she delivered. She delivered for her people because she really believes that stuff. But I do really think she believes in the firefighters and the police officers. I'm not so sure. I mean, she's already she's at least according to Erasmo, who's our opponent, shown that she doesn't care about your benefits. She ruined your benefits. At least that's what Erasmo was saying.
No, that's what the police officer said. That's what they said that night, Roman.
No, I believe you. I just want to give you the credit.
I
you deserve to get the credit. Now,
more people would have attended that forum because we didn't get but one question. The rest of the night, the police officers were out there bitching. We didn't get asked a question, but one question, Roman. They were bitching about how the current city commission had screwed them over, which includes John and Jessica, folks. But what really pisses me off, Roman, is that then they go like, well, Jessica said something in our favor. She's been quiet and silent, licking the cojones of Tony Martinez and now Trey Mendez in order to get more picture moments, folks. I mean, that's what she does. She's a ball kisser. That's what she is.
So what you're saying is she went from Tony Martinez to Trey Mendez, and now she's going to Roy? Is that what you're saying? Like she just moves around from men to men? Is that what you're saying on the commission?
Yeah, and Roy doesn't enjoy it, unless it's coming from someone else who's running for office right now.
Oh, and so you talk about campaign finance reports, you talk about somebody else. I find it extremely strange that Roy de los Santos, who the city commissioner, is out there providing as many in-kind contributions to his chief of staff.
Well, and again, look, let's be honest, guys. It's not coming from Roy. It's coming from cash money that is given to Roy so that Roy can put his name behind it. It's just that simple. It's not coming from Roy. And I would challenge Roy de los Santos to produce, bank deposit statements where it's actually coming from his bank account and not money that's being deposited into his account. But again, at the end of the day, I don't care. Look, it's a mistake. And Commissioner La Chanclas is overreaching. He wants control. And I said this last night.
You did.
I wish that last night's forum was recorded. I don't know if they did or didn't, but I hope everyone gets to see it. But look, guys, if Commissioner Roy de las Chanclas gets control of the commission, Brownsville is down for the next 20, 40 years. Down.
You said that last night, yes.
Said this last night. Down for the next 20, 40 years. No one, not Erasmo Castro, not Roy de las Chanclas, not anyone should have that much power in the city of Brownsville. No one. Because I can't remember. I think it was Dino that said it, or I can't remember who said it. But, you got to count to 4. That's what's wrong with Brownsville, folks, with individuals that think all you need is 4. That's why the school district is so screwed up. And you got a Jessica Gonzalez that's the president of the school board. So damn screwed up. This is why TSC is so screwed up. This is why the Port of Brownsville is so screwed up. This is why the Cameron County commissioners are so screwed up. Well, then you only need 3 because of the 4. We don't need a 4. We need a 7, Roman. We need independent thinkers on that commission that are going to represent the community of Brownsville as a whole. Not therefore, it's like Linda Macias was out there. She's out there block walking, and she's telling people, she goes, I want to get elected, and I can work well with John Cowan. You're not elected to work well with John Cowan or Roy. And I mentioned this to her. Let me tell you, Linda, you are not going to be elected to work well with John Cowan or with Roy La Chanclas or with anybody else on the commission. If you're elected, you're going to be elected to work well with the people of Brownsville and for the people of Brownsville. That's what commissioners are supposed to do. That's what mayors are supposed to do, not to work with the other three individuals to get you 4 votes.
I just want to know why she was yelling and screaming and like little AOC there. I mean, she understood that. I mean, I don't want you to pander to the Republicans that are there, but you were yelling and screaming, and you had that AOC look. It was just like, no, little Sandy Cortez there, no, don't do that. North for District 1 is what Jessica. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, I support North. I do. I told her she's more than welcome to put yard signs on my property. Um, and because I don't want Roy to have not, and Roy's a friend. I just don't think, and like you say, it as well, one person should have control of the entire commission the way it looks like with this. And it's obvious that based on the campaign finance reports, he's the one doing the in-kind contributions for his chief of staff, and I think that's just ridiculous. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Look, I like
in my
Roy,
years of being in politics.
I like Roy La Chanclas. I'm not going to. I like Roy La Chanclas. I don't think he should have that much power on the city commission. And I appreciate him being our commissioner at District 3. But let me say this:
Jessica would have been better.
100% without doubt. Let me say this: I'm going to have lunch with Commissioner La Chanclas next week. I don't have anything against him personally, nothing, and we could have great conversations in regards to politics. I just don't agree with this politiquera move that he's doing in regards to strong arming the police officers. And look, let me tell you, police officers, que vergüenza. Qué vergüenza for our law enforcement, our local law enforcement, to be bullied by these individuals to endorse Jessica Tetreault. After you've heard the video, guys, you've shared it. I know that you've shared it in your private chat, little things. You've heard the video, audio where she's contacting the interim police chief and, wanting to get her way. So it seems that you are used to getting strong-armed by these individuals. Que vergüenza. What a lack of dignity. What a lack of integrity to be strong-armed by Roy de las Chanclas, by Jessica Tetreault. Guys, she is a moron, an imbecile. She will be manipulated by every single individual, every single man that is on there that will give her the time of day or sometime during the night. Simple as that.
Can I say something about Roy? When you meet with Roy, you should really ask him. He during after the Colorado shooting springs or whatever, he had the candlelight visual or something for the victims of the club there in Colorado Springs, and he said I feel some really bad things and negative things. He said there's a lot of hate in this world, and we need to stamp out hate and stop hate and hate. Did he ever apologize for those statements, considering that the person who did it was a member of his community? Oh, I mean, allegedly did it. I should say allegedly did it. I mean, he never did. And that's the kind of, I don't want that. I mean, and he's a friend. I consider him a friend. But he should not be in this kind of power if he says the kind of things that he says. He just shouldn't. And I just really do hope that Nurit wins. I do hope that, Susan did a really phenomenal job last night. I hope that she's able to win. Tino seems like a good person and he seems like a upstanding guy. But I do want, Susan to win. I told Tino when I saw him a few weeks ago when I met him, I said, I can't support somebody who he hired to, work on his campaign. I just have a real big problem that way. And I told him. So, I hope that Susan's able to win. I am supporting Gatti. Although I think in District 2, I think Gatti did a very good job last night. Even Ernesto did to a certain extent. Being his first time, he's very impressive in that sense. But I do think that Gatti's the stronger candidate of the three, and hopefully she'll be able to win. And hopefully, Erasmo, you can pull it out and get into a runoff and maybe be able to beat John or Jessica, whoever else is in a runoff with you. If there is a runoff,
I'll put it out for you. I'll put it out for you anytime.
Yeah, let's not go there. I mean, look, it's. I believe that there needs to be change in the city, and you're not going to get change with Jessica or John as mayor. You're just not.
And again, guys, and I think my greatest flaw is just being so damn honest. Look, guys, after this race, if y'all decide on John or Jessica to be mayor of the city of Brownsville, y'all could eat crap if that's what you want to eat for the next 20, 30 years, guys. because that's exactly what you're going to get. Crap. So if that's what you want, more power to you. I'm out. This is my last race. I'm out. Arrivederci. God bless y'all. I'm going to limit my shows to 3 shows a week. God help everybody. And I'm going to just start doing the everything's chipper. And God bless
No,
everyone.
because we're too negative, you and me. We're just too being too negative. I bet you on the show, if they were going to, I mean, Roman and Erasmo, they were just be mean and negative and nasty and gross. And it's like, no, we're not. I mean, I'm pretty sure Erasmo and I could be even uglier than we probably are right now. But we're not. I think we're talking about what happened last night in the forum. I thought, I try to be as fair and honest about forums when I give my my opinion on it. And I just thought Erasmo, you did very well. I think Jessica, and Jessica, I was surprised to see Jessica there. Jessica Puente Bradshaw, and I'm glad that she was with her husband, Jonathan. I think she would probably agree, that in our opinion, that Susan and Erasmo and Gatti and Nurit. Well, Nurit was there by herself. There was no Brian. Why did Brian not show up? Do you know, Erasmo? Do you have another event or what? Where was Brian? Since you know everything about everybody.
Brian can't speak.
Is that what it is?
Brian can't speak, can't hold his own. And when they're not getting prepared questions, they don't know what the hell. Look, it's like an extension of Roy de las Chanclas. It's kind of embarrassing. But I will say he started off on the right foot at the Board of Realtors Forum. But then once he stopped doing the Erasmo talk, because he was speaking as if it was me speaking. All of a sudden, this is what's so trippy, guys. All of a sudden, I don't know if it's like the candidates, they're starting to like, oh my God, what we're doing is not working. Let's deal with the real issues here in the city of Brownsville. So it's kind of a weird thing. I'm sort of thinking that they're realizing that people are tired of the bullcrap. They want the Erasmo talk. They want the truth. And so they've started to change their rhetoric a little bit. Brian was like all like, oh yeah, we gotta hold them accountable and all this, and I'm going like, damn, he's sounding like me, and John Cowan started to sound like me, and everyone started to sound. I'm going like, what the hell's going on here? But I think that's the issue. But after that couple of minutes went on, he lost it completely and started to go back into, my mom was I'm single mother household, my mom raised me by herself, and it's the same little rhetoric speech that I think Roy de las Chanclas prepared for him. It's not going to work. It's not going to work down south. My southmost people, they don't want to hear that a little violin stories like, they want to hear what the hell you're going to do for them, bro. And let me tell you, that's part of again, that is Roy de las Chanclas speaking, and not necessarily them.
Yeah, I mean, and Brian has a crap ton of signs, and for the amount of money he's paying for signs, it's very. I don't think the number of signs matches the amount of money. I mean, unless sign prices have gone down to the point that they're really, really, really cheap, it just seems very strange. But it's really interesting how he has a sign that he's not going to be political strange or puppet strange. He's going to be a man of the people, I guess. And Nurit isn't. Look, I've had my issues with Nurit, but I go with the race, throw everything out the window. What I've said in the past, I look at that race. And just like I did 4 years ago when I supported Rick Longoria, even though I ran against him twice, I supported him against Nurit and even against Michael Rodriguez because Rick kept his word on 2 or 3 issues that were important to me as a voter, not just as a candidate, but as a voter. These were important issues to me. And so I happily supported Rick 4 years ago. And yeah, I went after Nurit. I was really bad against Nurit because I support my friends and I support people that I support wholeheartedly, 100%. And so this go around, I live in District 1. I can vote in that race. And I'm looking at it. Do I want Brian? Do I want Nurit? Those are my 2 choices. And there's absolutely no way I can vote for Brian. He doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have the knowledge. You made it very clear he can't even speak. He can't even show it to a forum. He can't give an explanation or excuse. And he's obviously controlled by one city commissioner who apparently is his boss because he's the chief of staff for that person. I'd rather, and for anybody who hasn't seen those signs that no strings attached or whatever, it seems like he has strength to Roy. And I don't want that. And so that's why I happily support Nurit because Nurit has been everywhere. I had my doubts about her. I seriously did. She has been in places. She goes to different events. The kind of people that are knocking on doors for her are regular, normal people, and that believe in her. And I don't have a problem voting for her, supporting her. So and that's what I tried to tell people last night about you, Erasmo, because there were some people that were not clapping for you, didn't want to clap for you because they were kind of shy or scared. But towards the end, they all clapped for you like really loud. And that was a telltale sign for me that people are willing to listen potentially, but there's still that little back in the head. Well, is Erasmo a conservative? Is he a Republican? Oh, these nasty things I've heard about him, are they true? And it's like, why would I be friends with Erasmo if the crap that they say about him would be true? Why would I be? I mean, am I that bad a judge of character? Well, maybe I am, because I've supported some people that have stabbed me in the back before, but whatever. But Erasmo's what you're gonna get. So that's why I have no problem voting for you, Erasmo, and supporting you. But same thing with Nerd. I have no problems voting for her and supporting her and having her sign on my yard. No problems doing that. You're looking
Well,
down, so let's read this question.
would it be a conflict of interest if Brian wins since he works for Los Santos, in my opinion? But it looks like Brian does what and how Los Santos wants, and even reads the cards that someone else wrote for him. Doesn't have a clue of what he is reading. Seems to be like Los Santos wants to control 100%. And this is exactly what I mentioned last night. I mean, I said this last night without a doubt.
Mm.
I love mean tweets. Well, you're gonna get a lot of mean tweets from me.
Are you even? You're still on Twitter, right? Did you put Jessica's comment about calling out whatever, calling out
Calling out
corruption?
corruption or shady business is not being negative. Using the people of Brownsville for one's own ego, financial benefit is what's negative. 100%. 100%.
But apparently, people take it negative when you say these things, and they're like, "You're so nasty. Why are you so nasty? Can't everybody just get along, kumbaya?" That's not politics. That's not how it is. Unfortunately, we don't live in a unicorn land. And she does show up. Yeah, Nora does show up, and I've heard a lot of good things about her showing up. And she does events. It's great. Congratulations. I have no problem voting for her and supporting her. I'm a little disappointed that on some, that she seems to have signs for certain people. I see on some of their property, I see Tino signs, and I see John signs. And oh, by the way, I gotta bring this up again. Tino Villarreal's real name is Celestino Villarreal Jr. For whatever reason, the city secretary's office in the city of Brownsville have allowed his nickname Tino Villarreal to be the one that appears on the ballot. I think that's a violation of the election code. Hopefully somebody can look into that and find out why exactly a nickname is being allowed to be on the ballot as opposed to their actual name as the election code calls for.
It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Brian is Biden and Los Santos is the Democrats' puppet. It could be.
Well, I don't know. Let's go around. Jessica, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Roy de los Santos tried to play like he was some sort of conservative Republican. I mean, doesn't he have like a Ronald Reagan picture on his cover photo and made everybody believe he's a Republican? But he didn't vote for Trump. I think he voted for Hillary and voted for Biden. So I don't know how you can call yourself a Republican if you do that. But I never voted for Biden, and I never voted for Hillary.
Maybe you did.
No, I did not.
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say, guys, people need to do a lot of research and make sure that individuals as that actually have your best interest at heart, and that they're not giving you political talk or bullcrap. People need to start appreciating the truth for what it is.
Yeah. Well, the truth is that you don't want more of the same in the city of Brownsville.
No.
Nope. No, you don't. But everybody should really look. If you all want to see everyone's campaign finance reports, just Google Brownsville City Secretary 2023 election, and you can look at everyone's documentation so you can see it for yourself. Don't believe what I'm saying or Erasmo saying. Just take it with a grain of salt and go in and look at it yourselves and see how much money is being placed into some of these people's campaigns. In Tino campaign finance report. I saw there was a state PAC, some Halif associates or something. I want to believe, I want to say they're in the construction business. I don't know if they're a vendor with the city, but they donated, I want to say $1,000 to Tino. I don't know why they did, but they did. And so look at who's giving money and why that, maybe not ask why they're giving money or find from that person, but you can in yourself find out why or think why did they give money to those people. I mean, there's nothing wrong with donating to campaigns. I donate to people all the time. I've donated to Erasmo before. I've donated to Jessica before. There's nothing wrong with it, but when they're donating $1,000 or $2,000,
You haven't given
why?
me any money this time.
No, I have not this time.
Break down, bitch.
Have you asked?
Yeah, give me my damn money.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll see what I can do to donate money to you.
You should have given it to me last night.
Yeah. I want, you know what? I actually offered Nur to donate to her campaign, but she said she does not want to accept any donations from anybody. She wants to be self-funded.
Why
Same
didn't you-
thing for Susan.
Why didn't you
Susan
tell
says,
me?
well, because I didn't really talk to you. You were busy mingling with other people because you wanted their votes, not mine, because you already have my vote.
Exactamente.
But but Susan, same thing. She's like, she wants to be self-funded or something. So I was like, okay. I was like, why is everybody wanting to do that? It's weird.
I'll take your money, bitch. You gave me North's money, Susan's money, and my money.
I'm not allowed to. I'm only allowed to give you, I think, $100 in cash. If it's more than $100 or something,
You give me 100 now, 100 later.
I don't think you can do that. But yeah, I think you're only allowed to give $100 in cash per filing period. Anything more than that, you have to do in the form of a check. Yeah. Erasmo, you need some signs down here on Southwest and 30th area. Do you even have any signs, Erasmo?
I don't have any signs, Roman, because you haven't given me any damn money, bitch.
But you're not gonna be able to get any real signs with $100.
It's a start.
But Jesse wants you to get signs over there on Southwest and 30th.
I don't have money.
Mm-hmm. You said you only had $300 earlier from John Higgy or
I
whatever.
spend it on decals and on cups and on the little lonas that I have.
Mm-hmm. And that might be more useful than yard signs. How about
I know, but I don't have money, Jesse. I don't have money, and it's until either people break down with some cash, or maybe I'm thinking this what's going to happen. I'm thinking what's going to happen is that I'm going to get some cash.
You mean checks?
Oh, I'm going to get some donations.
Okay.
I don't know, whatever.
But but at this point, it's not really about signs. At this point, it's about getting people to get people to vote, share your stuff on Facebook and Twitter and everywhere, and have people start calling them and say, "Hey, I'm going to be supporting Erasmo."
100%.
I mean, early voting starts a week from today? No, not a week from today. A week from Monday.
Yeah.
And so that's when early voting starts. So you need to start, making your plans and calling your people and explaining to them. And it's not going to be a very, very large turnout, guys. It's probably going to be 12,000 people voting. That's my guess. It's going to be about 12,000 people coming out to vote. I don't see the excitement for people to come out and vote. So let's say it's 12,000 people coming out to vote. You only need 6,000 votes to win.
What we need
that's what you've gotten more than 12,000 votes when you run before. Other people come out to vote and you win.
What we need is individuals to call, text, and to take people out to vote. At this point, look, guys, block walking is not going to help at this point.
Yeah, it does.
Well, not at this
point. No, block walking may be the difference between you getting to runoff or not.
What we need is individuals to go out there and to call, text, and take people out to the polls. It's just that simple. We are a week away. You didn't walk the house like this judge who came inside my house to beg for a vote and she won. Yeah, I'm not going to go out there and beg you for a vote.
Well, you said you were going to go block walking, but look,
I
got into a runoff with Ricardo Longoria, right? And it was like a 4-vote difference between me making a runoff or not. The guy that came in third place, all he did the entire week of early vote was hold a sign and become more red. And when he lost out in the runoff, he's like, I should have done what you were doing, Roman. And it's like, what was I doing? You were block walking and taking people to go vote during early voting. And I was like, well, yeah, that's what you should have been doing. But you were holding a sign and hanging out with a gorilla doll for 2 weeks. So that's what I'm telling you, Erasmo. I mean, that's where it's at. You can make a difference. And if people actually want to help you block walk, then they should go out there and block walk with you and actually do it.
Look, again, if anybody wants to go out there block walk, I will go block walk with you. But let me say this, guys. I've shared the truth. I've been on these people's butt for the past 8 to 10 years. I'm done. If the people of Brownsville want to eat crap, more power to y'all guys. As simple as that. Look, I'm I'm giving it all she's got, Captain. But I'm still, and again, I get bitched up because I go out there and have spend some time with Avram and the kids. Look, guys, I'm not going to put my complete life on hold for this election because at the end of the day, the people want to eat crap. More power to you guys. I'm going to do as much as I can, but it's a team effort. If people want true change in the city, then come out and help. I'll go block walk with you. We'll do it together, but don't expect me to go out there and I've already did. Look, I called for a meeting at the office, and I'll say this: I called for a meeting and said, "Hey guys, let's meet at the office. Let's talk about what we could do together." I had two people show up. Two people. So it's simple as that, guys. If people don't want change, they want to continue to get screwed over by PUB, screwed over by Trey Mendez and the Limas brothers and all this little group. There's nothing you could do against that because I cannot outspend my opponents. I don't have $96,000 to spend on a campaign. I don't have $70,000 to spend on a campaign, folks. I do not. So I'm putting in 300. I'm probably going to put in another $200, guys, and that's it. If I don't get Roman's money, if I don't get other people's money, that's all I'm going to throw out there, guys. Because again, if people want to eat crap, more power to you guys. I know
Mhm.
my people will back you up. Get in my little bus rate. Love you, puppy. You got my vote. Thank you for your service. Thank you, puppy. Vote for change. People wake up. Damn, is enough. Except I'm at the chicken place, and you're. Someone actually offered me, "Hey, that's what can we do chicken place for you?" I said, "Sure, I don't care as long as y'all are doing it. I'm not going to pay for
Just
chicken."
make sure you have a permit from the city of Brownsville to be able to give out chicken plates. Don't want to get in trouble.
There's a Bill Clinton with Jessica Tetro. You see him?
No, it didn't show up on my screen for some reason.
It's right there in the picture, Roman.
I know it is in the picture, but it's a blue circle. That's all I see on my screen.
Oh,
I don't know why.
because you got cricket phone, guys.
I'm not on the phone.
I
That's not
got
what hey, before I forget, is it possible for us to congratulate Trey Mendez on getting recognized yesterday by the Texas House? They actually have a resolution that was forwarded by Aaron Gomez and saying how wonderful and glorious our fearless Farquad Mayor Trey Mendez was yesterday. I'm serious because congratulations for his years of service to our community. Seriously.
okay.
And I'm smiling because Juanita Janie was standing right next to Aaron, just smiling away, and I'm just like, "Why are you smiling?" So I'm gonna smile like Juanita.
Good luck.
They recognized him. They even gave him a flag.
LGBTQIA flag.
I don't know.
Guys, let's see. Most of the votes are from people who are seeing you now. Let's pray. Thanks for coming on, guys. Have a great day.
Welcome.
I actually got to work, guys. Have a good one. Be good to each other. Continue to be good to me. God bless. I actually got